Are we live? Are we going live? Good morning. It is day 31. Is it day 31? Sorry. It is day 32 of Flippin' Live. It is Wednesday, June 3rd, 2020. My name is Andrew from 510 Books. And today I want to talk about two other ways of making money with used books. First one I haven't talked about at all, and the second one I have mentioned but not gone into any more detail. And I could do a whole video about both of these, but I thought I would just dive into both of them as options because I've talked about different ways of making money online with used books. And you can also use or resell other types of media as well with these both ways. But anyway, let's talk about online arbitrage. What's that? And a bookstore. So let's get started.
Flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live. We're gonna strive, we're here to learn, and gonna earn. Flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live, we're flippin' live.
Good morning, guys. Again, today I'm going to be talking about a couple different ways to run a business, to resell books online, used book. Well, I guess they could be new, but mostly just used books online. Papa, no. First one is retail arbitrage, and the second one is opening a bookstore. Completely different ways of making money. I've done a little bit of both. The first one I've done years ago, and the second one I'm doing still currently and still learning about. So anyway, so I will dive into it. Terry's not interested in either. That's fine. Cool. Brian's going out in the thrift stores. Yeah. Well, anyway, so basically online arbitrage is essentially, so this is something that I started or I tried out several years ago, probably at least 3 years ago, if not longer. I tried it out just to see what it was all about, if it was something that I could do. And I actually still have some of the books that I attempted to flip in a spreadsheet. So actually, it was 2015 and 2016 when I tried that. Yeah, wow. So I do actually have some data from that, or I do actually have my spreadsheet. Online arbitrage is essentially buying books on Amazon that are merchant fulfilled offers. So FBM, fulfilled by merchant, typically, not always, but typically from mega sellers. So big, Goodwills or various big accounts where they will have big warehouse employees, and they are just turning books over like crazy. So usually from mega sellers, and then you have that book sent to you. Typically, that's what I did. Of course, if you have someone listing for you and shipping for you, that's a different scenario. But you can have it sent to you or a lister, and then you turn around, and once you get enough books together, you create a FBA shipment, and you send those off. Those they're usually textbooks, but you send those books off to Amazon again, or not again, rather. But you send them off to Amazon and list them. They get listed again on Amazon, but this time they will be listed as FBA. So you buy low and then hopefully sell high. Buy low, merchant fulfilled, and hopefully sell high, FBA. They're basically merchant fulfilled MF to FBA flips, merchant fulfilled to fulfilled by Amazon flips. And by and large, these are mostly going to want to be textbooks just because they are seasonal, and you can buy them during certain periods of the year when they are generally lower, when the demand is low, so the prices go down. And then you can sell them when the prices go up, usually significantly, when people are going back to school, which are two main times of year. There's also a small bump there's also a small bump for people that do they go to school. What do you call it? Quarterly versus on the semester program. But the two big ones are those that go. Those two big bumps are the semester programs, which are most of the colleges in the United States. So that's basically the gist of it. And there's two. I don't know if there's more than these two. I only know that I'm aware of. There's two programs you can use. You can pay for software to that helps you with lots and lots of data and triggers and all that type of fun stuff. If you love math and you love triggers, that will help you to purchase these items. Now, there are some people that do it by themselves without software. I've read about these people. I've heard about these people. So you don't have to use the software, but that's a much easier way to do it. If you can get lists of textbooks, if you can find them from colleges or wherever you might find them, potentially profitable textbooks, ones that are popular, ones that are current, you can do this by yourself. But the software really does help, of course. So the first one is Zen Arbitrage, and the second one is eFlip. The Zen Arbitrage was the first on the market. I was one of the first people one of the first people, but one of the first waves of people to use it back in 2015. And eFlip came out later. So Zen Arbitrage, you have to pay monthly. They have a free trial. Zen Arbitrage has a 14-day free trial, and eFlip has a 21-day free trial. So you can try them out for a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. What do you call it? Zen Arbitrage is $97 a month. Whoopsie. Hold on. All right, hold on. Let me get rid of this. Is $97 a month. I'll just forget about that. And then eFlip is $79 a month. So, it's a difference of roughly $20, $18, whatever. So Zen Arbitrage is the older one. eFlip is a newer one. A lot of people like eFlip, but Zen Arbitrage is still in business, so enough people must be using it. Zen Arbitrage is created by a guy named Peter Valley, who has a blog and has many reselling book courses. And eFlip is by Caleb Roth, who is behind Scout IQ and is a part of Accelerlist, and I'm assuming other things, and a spreadsheet for your book business. So these are both people that have been booksellers. I don't know if they're booksellers anymore, but they learned about bookselling, and then one made a bunch of courses and came out with a couple different types of software. The other one came out with a bunch of software. So I don't know how much these guys actually resell books anymore, but they do have these softwares available that you can purchase and pay for every month. So that's where we are with those. So those are the two options. And here I will show you the both of them just for funsies. So here's eFlip, the sales page right here. As you can see, you can try it for free, 21 days. Yeah, it's really simple, right? Use the software, buy merchant fulfilled items, sell FBA. Although they should probably have merchant fulfilled here down low and then FBA up high. But anyway, earn a profit, repeat the process. That's all it is. That's how simple it is. You just have to learn the process. And then you go down here, see 21 days, and then it'll say $79 a month, which is Books Plan. They also have apparently CDs only, DVDs only, and vinyl only. And those also have free trials. And then Zen Arbitrage is a bit more of a cluttered sales page. You should probably work on that. But anyway, yeah, the originators of book and trade and arbitrage. So they're definitely competing against each other. Find cheap books, list at a higher price, profit the difference. That's basically it. And this one is just to show you, where did it go? Start your free trial. There it is. Try free for 14 days, $97 a month after. And they can just cancel them, of course. So they are a bit pricey um, which means that you have to really be utilizing them and make sure that you're actually making money with them to to warrant that the price. Now, if you're on there every day going after books and trying to flip them, you should not have a problem paying for for the software and making some money. But here, let's see. What did I want to talk about? So basically, if you know the cyclical nature, the seasonality of back to school textbooks and other school books, you know that the two big bumps are essentially, if you start at January, it's January and about the first couple of weeks of February is back to school time. So that's when you can sell a lot of textbooks. Sometimes you will see sales start to come in late December as well, in December, but most of it will be the big spike will be all through January and then those first couple of weeks of February, and then it kind of drops off about second or third week of February is when those sales start to go down dramatically because most people are back into school. So then about mid to late February, well, hold on. So that's when you can make those sales, right? Or when prices go up a lot for textbooks and school-related books, college-related school books. And then again, back to school, of course, August. So it starts typically. You might see some sales ramp up in July, back to school sales, book sales, but then it really starts to kick up in August, towards the end of August, and then those first 2 or 3 weeks of September. I've even seen it go into October. So I would say roughly August, September, and a little bit of October, but basically August, September are the two big months there. Those are the biggest months. Those are even bigger than January and February. But clearly you should take advantage of both. So then what that means is end of February until basically May to June-ish. So there's a big span there where the books are going to go, book prices are typically going to go down for textbooks and that type of thing. Back to school books that are really specifically for, but what we're talking about is textbooks. I want to show an example here of a textbook. Okay, so let me show this is just one example, but here's a textbook that, as you can see, the green line is, of course, sales rank. So here, I'll just highlight it. So as you can see, so starting in, well, this is starting in a year ago in June. It starts, so it's down here at, I can't see it on my screen. Wow. So the rank here is pretty low in the prices. So we want to see used prices. Will start to go up. So they're down here by 53. They kind of jump up, but and then they'll go down here in October. And they'll kind of stay a little bit low, and then they'll go up a little bit in June, and they'll go down. This is not but the sales rank to me is more important because look how it goes down dramatically, and then it goes up, and then there's nothing going on, and then January it dips super low again, and then goes back up. So that's just an example of the seasonality of it. So it's super popular. I mean, look at this. The rank's down to 1,685 for a while here. Basically, starts to dip down in August, goes way down, and then it starts to go up again as you get closer to October, and then it's back up a little bit down here again. But anyway, so that's the general idea, is that you want to take advantage of when the prices are low, and then when you get the books, ship them in and price them high. And it's up to you whether you want to hang on to those books to wait to ship them in, or if you just want to ship them in and list them at those higher prices and build up your inventory so that when time comes around for back to school, you have a ton of books there priced higher that you can take advantage of that uptick in price, basically. Terry is all for Zen Arbitrage over eFlip. I don't know. I haven't used both of them. The one that I used was Zen Arbitrage back in 2015. So my personal okay. So before I get into that, uh, yeah, basically what you're doing is you're largely buying from mega sellers when the for those merchant fulfilled prices. So large booksellers that have warehouses, employees that sell thousands of books on a monthly basis, if not tens of thousands, hundreds a day, if not thousands a day. People that have millions of books in stock. Largely, this is going to be mega sellers that are going to have those prices be really low. So you might have a book be $8 merchant fulfilled, and then you can get it and turn around and sell it for 50, 60, depending on what the book is, and make a nice profit, right? You have a nice profit margin. Um, Yeah, so that's basically, what you're doing is taking advantage of these big sellers who get huge quantities of books, gaylords of books, and they go through tons and tons of books, and they will sell. They're looking for quantity, right? So they don't mind making, selling a book for 5 or 8 or 10 bucks, uh, knowing that it could be sold during back to school time for much more money. They don't care. They're going for volume, right? They want to turn over their books quickly and turn over lots of books. So you can take advantage of that where your model is as an individual seller, you're trying to find as many of those deals as possible so that you can then buy 100 books for, let's say, $5 to $15, $20, whatever the most you're willing to spend on a book, but then reselling them for $50 to $100 and even more, of course, if you really find a book that sells for over $100. There's plenty of textbooks that sell for over $100. There's some that sell for over $200, but those are kind of the home runs. But if you can get, resell for those books for 50 to $100, and you've purchased them for 5 to, let's say, at most $20, then you can make a nice profit margin, and take advantage of that difference there in different types of reselling models. The mega volume seller versus the low volume, higher profit FBA seller. So that's the gist of it, right? But this type of reselling, so I tried it out back in 2015, and that was the very beginning of Zen Arbitrage software. So I'm sure in the convening or the intervening years that they've improved their software dramatically and gotten better with it and have better tools and all of that. So I could probably do much better with it than I did back then. I did make some profit, but I didn't. I decided not to continue with it because I didn't enjoy it at all. Not because of the software, but just because of the process. So that's the other thing that comes into play here is you have to understand that this type of book reselling is completely different than what most people do. That type of book selling, the online arbitrage is sitting in front of your computer, looking at data, right? Looking at the types of data that you can use with the software to filter out books, and doing that for hours, or I don't know, however many hours you want to do it a day, and finding books that way. So finding them low, buy it, have it shipped to you, and then you continue to find more and more and more, so that you just eventually get this river of books coming to you consistently every day. And then when you get enough together, you put a FBA shipment together and ship it out, and then you keep getting more books. So the only times you ever touch a book is when you actually get the book sent to your house, and then you just scan it in, list it, put an FBA sticker on it, put it in a box with the rest of the books, pack them up, and go to UPS. So you're never actually touching books aside from only the books that you have purchased for resale, for flipping. So you have to really enjoy working on the computer. That's all you're really doing is working on the computer. It's like 90% on the computer, if not higher, and 5 or 10% of just listing the books that you've purchased and going to UPS or having them pick up a box from you. And also, if you have somebody who lists and ships books for you, somebody that you're employing or family friend that you're employing, whatever the situation is, then you actually will never touch a book. There are people that do that where they buy on eFlip. Actually, Caleb Roth touts his system and says that he never has to touch a book. He's proud of not having to touch a book. To me, that's weird, but whatever, to each their own. So he likes the idea of go on for a couple hours, find 20 books, have them shipped to my lister, so they'll show up in a week or so, and then he or she will get them all together, boom, scan them in, sticker, box, ship them. So all he ever, it's just computer work. So if you like to make money on the computer, just computer work, then that is the best way to go. If you don't want to ever see a book or only see it when you're actually going to slap a sticker on it, FBA sticker, and ship it off, then that could be your thing, right? It's kind of like trading stocks or building websites, whatever, different ways you can make money online exclusively. Now, for me personally, I didn't like that. It felt really strange and unfulfilling. And I am a big fan of doing things. If you're going to pursue some sort of entrepreneurial thing, scheme or endeavor, then I feel that you should enjoy it. Ideally, there's plenty of jobs you can have that you don't like, but if you're going to pursue a business, I would hope that it would be something that you would like. So you have to like to sit in front of your computer and look at graphs and not touch books. You're a book reseller, but you're hardly ever touching books. Whereas if you're going out there to all the different sources, or even just buying in bulk, even in Gaylords, you're touching lots of books and going through a lot of books. But that might be the antithesis of what you want to do as a book reseller who's just doing flips. And I've seen people in the Facebook group saying all I do is use eFlip, or all I do is use an arbitrage, and I'm making great money. And I hardly ever see, and that person hardly ever sees books, right? So to each their own. But this is another way to make money for sure, without having to actually go out there. Another thing some people say, oh, I got so tired of going to thrift stores. To each their own, right? I would say that I did sometimes get tired of going to thrift stores, but which is why I changed it up and tried to get into bulk. But I didn't enjoy the flipping, the online arbitrage process at all. It was very unsatisfying. And also the other thing that you have to worry about, which you can mitigate over time, is certain mega sellers will say a copy is in very good condition and it ends up being an acceptable condition, or an acceptable condition copy is really just not worth sending in FBA. Now what you end up doing is making a list of those mega sellers, and you don't buy from them anymore. That's just another learning curve process, part of the process that you have to take into consideration as well. A lot of these mega sellers will not condition or not properly put the right conditions on the book. So that's something to consider as well. Yeah, boring. Yeah, I think it's boring, but like I said, some people, I've read people online on Facebook groups that don't even like books, as in, not that they hate books, they're just not big fans of books. They're not big readers. They don't like to look at books and find different kinds of cool books. So they just do it for the money. And that to me is so weird, but whatever. It provides an income for them. There's so many things you can do and not like and make money at it, right? It just seems like there's so many, because of the internet, there's so many opportunities to make money, different ways to make money online. And FBA is just one of them, or Amazon, or book reselling is just one of them. But anyway, that could go on and on about that. But so that's one way, is online arbitrage. I think that was all I was going to talk about with that. But yeah, you have to make a decision. You have to give it a shot. Try probably a couple months, invest the money in the software, learn the software, and you can do it that way. You could sit at your house and do it. You can go to, if you're the kind of person that likes to go to the local coffee shop, or you go to a bookstore, whatever, and you can just sit there on your computer for 6-7 hours a day finding books to resell. The other thing about it too, actually, before I stop talking about it, is it costs more money. I'm not talking about the software, but the books on average are going to cost more per book. So instead of going, the traditional method of estate sales, thrift stores, garage sales, library book sales, etc., buying online through Facebook Marketplace, that kind of thing, where you can get books for really cheap, you are going to have to get accustomed to buying books for, you're not going to buy, $1 book, $2 books. You're going to have to go $5 and up minimum. Be lucky if you find a $3 or $4 book. It's mostly going to be $5 to $10, if not all the way up to $15. So you have to be okay to put out some money initially. Also, the more you pay for a book, even merchant fulfilled, potentially the more profit you're going to get for it, FBA. So if you're willing to pay $20, $25 for a book merchant fulfilled, but through the data and through the sales rank or through the keep charts and that type of thing that book can sell potentially for 100, 120, $150, even $20, and you flip it for $80, and your profit is, I don't know what your profit would be. Let's say you more than double your money though, $40, $50 in profit. Is it worth this, or are you comfortable spending that $20, $25? So again, you have to consider that as well. Do you have the money to shell out initially until you start seeing those sales coming in? So you probably need to have a good amount of money to start it up, unless you're really going to stick to the lower priced books that might not then resell for that much more FBA. So consider that as well. You might need $1,000, couple $1,000 to really get it going, to really start build up your inventory. But like anything, like the normal traditional way of reselling used books, you do need a little bit of money too, and it does take a little bit of time to build up your inventory and to start getting consistent Amazon payouts, so that you have that money to reinvest in the business and buy more books. It's the same thing with online arbitrage. So take that into consideration as well, because you just don't jump into it with $100, because it's not going to work out. You should probably have, I would say, at least $1,000 to invest in it, at least. Because even if you're spending $10 on a book, 100 books, that's $1,000. Whereas if you're spending $1 on a book and you buy 100 books, it's only $100. So that's a random number, but that's more realistic. You're going to be spending like $10 on a book, merchant fulfilled, to flip it for $50, $60 FBA. So keep that in mind as well. Hey Murray, welcome. Want to give a shout out to everybody that's here. Terry's here, Brian's here. They're the only two that have, aside from Murray, who has commented. Feel free. I see there's 9 people watching. Feel free to participate in the chat. Terry says he's meeting later today with a college student who's going to sell me a book for $15 that I hope will sell for about $80. I like OA done in person. Yeah, I mean, that's another way to do it. This is all up here. Let me put it down here. That's another way to do it for sure, is you can flip textbooks locally. So instead of buying on Amazon, you can go look on Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, Letgo, Nextdoor, Craigslist. That's 5 right there. And right now is a great time because school's ending. So, I mean, a student's like, yeah, I'm going to get $15, but then Terry's going to turn around and hopefully sell it for $80. Even if he sells it for $70, he's still going to make some nice profit. So that's another way without having to sit in front of your computer. Well, you have to sit in front of your computer to find them, and you have to contact them. You can do it on your phone too, and find textbooks, because a lot of students just want to, $10, $20, $25. They're not looking to make their money back or whatever. So you can try to take advantage of that opportunity as well, and flip your books that way, or flip textbooks that way, because textbooks definitely are where a lot of big money can be made, but they are harder to find in the traditional way, in the traditional sources like thrift stores. I have found a lot of textbooks in thrift stores for dirt cheap, and then turn around and sell them for $50+. I've found them, many of them over the almost 6 years now. So you can find them, and I find that they do start showing up after school has ended. So if you're going at this time of the year, or into the beginning of summer, or when school's ending, like January, that type of thing. I mean, December, January. You can find some as well, but definitely at the end of the year, right now is a good time too. So that's a way to definitely go for it, to resell books. Oh, no problem, Pat. You don't need. It's okay, but feel free. The other way too, and this is a completely different way of reselling books, and this is something that I have thought I wanted to do years ago, or thought about doing, I should say, I still want to do it, but I still am doing it. But is to sell books. This sort of complements. I'm not talking about just to sell books in a bookstore, right? So like I do, I have a warehouse space. Of course, there's also a retail space you can get into. I recommend going the warehouse route because it's less expensive. But before I get into that, this is sort of a way. This is a way to monetize your duds if you're doing bulk. If you're just cherry picking or doing online art, I mean, like Terry's talking about meeting someone in person. This is not this is not a way to go about it. This is really if you are doing a bulk or wanting to get into bulk, um, then this is a way to monetize those duds. And also, a long term strategy is this is a way to then get more books. So, when I first started in bulk, I was just trying to, get access to more books uh, in a cheaper way to resell them on Amazon. I wasn't even doing eBay, and I wasn't even thinking about a bookstore. I started learning about the possibility of a bookstore from other bulk sellers online through Facebook groups and other YouTube videos and that type of thing, who, because they were buying gaylords of books and on a big scale, bigger than I've ever done, in big warehouses, they realized that over time they were just recycling all of these good books that they couldn't sell individually on Amazon or eBay. They were just recycling them when they could turn around and use part of their warehouse to have a local sale and sell those books for pretty inexpensive prices, but do it in a high volume to where they could make some money at it, some good money. So I liked that idea, and as I got more into bulk, I thought, well, that makes sense. And I love books and also other media that I got into: CDs, records, DVDs. So as I got deeper into bulk, I thought, well, I'd like to do that one day. I can't do it out of a storage unit, which is what I had. You can't have a sale out of a storage unit, at least not here. So I started looking for warehouse space, and eventually, it took me a while. Eventually, I did find a space last year, which is super convenient for me, really close to where my house is, like ridiculously close, like a 2-minute drive, 3 minutes if I get caught at stoplights, traffic lights, and it's also a month-to-month lease versus a year, 2, 3 year lease, and it is the right size to start out. It's 800 square feet, and the amount, the monthly lease is, I mean, the monthly price is good too. Speaking of that, I need to pay my lease, so I will take out my checkbook so I can not forget that. So yeah, so it's I got into the warehouse, and then I quickly started putting up tables and bookshelves and shelves of all kinds, and now I have it all set up for a monthly sale. So this really works well if you have gotten to bulk. If you're an individual seller and have no interest in it, then it doesn't make sense. But it's great also because you can essentially you can, as you do it more often, you can build up. So here's the thing first before I jump into that. So warehouse versus retail. Warehouse is less expensive. It's inexpensive. It's cheaper, and you can do a once a month sale, which I found to be really good because you don't have to be open all the time, and you can do all of your sales in 2 days. For me, for instance, I do a Friday and a Saturday sale. I've never tried to do Sunday as well, although just because it's so exhausting. But I'm sure if I opened Sunday, I would sell some stuff too, which I'll maybe try one day. We'll see. But for now, it's just Friday and Saturday, 8 to 2. I usually stay open later than 2 because people keep showing up because I have a sign out in the street. So anyway, retail, of course, retail is more expensive in general. And usually when you have a retail space, because it's more expensive and because you have more visibility, because you're usually, around other retail businesses, so people are walking by and that type of thing, because it is retail, usually you want to be open more than once a month, if not daily, at least 5, 6 days a week. So then that requires a lot more in person. You have to be there. Either you have to be there to do it, or you have to hire somebody or some people to run that that space, that store. So that's why I like the idea. You can maybe eventually move into retail, but I like the idea. I much prefer the idea. I recommend the idea. Highly recommend doing a warehouse space first and getting comfortable with that and putting on a monthly sale. Um, so it's a great way to monetize your duds. So if you're getting Gaylords, if you don't even have a Gaylord source, but you're getting bulk, you're really good at buying books in bulk from online, that type of thing, wherever you're getting them from, but you have a lot of extras. Uh, you would probably need at least to have 1,000 or more books left over to really have a decent sale. But you can, put up some bookshelves, shelving, whatever it is, organize them. Fiction, nonfiction, alphabetical would be nice, especially for fiction. Kids' books separate, and price them out. I just say flat prices though for books versus individual prices. I wouldn't recommend that unless it's a more valuable book. Then you can price it individually, and then you have your sale. And the great thing about it, other than aside from clearly making money on those duds, is that you can meet people face to face, get to know people's names, shake their hands, although not right now during coronavirus, but before that, get to know them, they get to know you, they see your face, they put your face to the business that you have, and then they will more than likely, if they are frequent readers or you have other types of media, they will come back. So you build that relationship, and then you don't have to do much. You just have to keep putting on your sale. I mean, clearly you keep the relationship going. Remember their name, say hello, how you doing? But they will come back and they will bring more people. Even if they don't bring people, they will come back and spend money. So you can build that relationship, and also you can get donations from people or trade-ins. So ideally, which is what is slowly happening, I'm running the ad on Facebook for donations, but I have had donations already and trade-ins from people that have come to my sale. And I've only had 5 sales, by the way. November, December, January, February, and March. My last sale was in March, and I just announced that I'm going to do one in 2 weeks on the 19th and 20th in my Facebook page, and then I'll advertise for it as well to the general public. But that will be my first sale since March, so that'll be my 6th sale. Anyway, so that's a great way to build relationships, get donations, and also you can sell other media as well. You can have, like I do, if you have CDs left over, if you have DVDs, if you have records, video games are huge. All of those can be added as complementary to the books. And if you're into bulk books already, chances are you're going to be able to get access to other types of bulk media. Murray makes a good point. Just jumping over to the chat here. I've done FBA for a while. The amount Amazon takes has constantly got worse. Absolutely. Textbooks are worth selling on Amazon. Absolutely. Amazon takes a big cut, especially for the lower priced books. I would say once you start to get over $20, $25, you start to see, bigger profits. They're not taking as much money. But definitely if you have books selling for $15 and less, they're taking a big chunk. So I think it's a good idea. No, I mean, definitely for textbooks is great for Amazon. Whenever I find textbooks, higher priced books, I almost always just send them in, FBA. So yeah, so what else was it? Oh, right. That's the great thing about doing the warehouse sale is you can do the monthly, you have the monthly structure where instead of doing, being open every week, you can do it once a month. So not only do you not have to put on a sale all the time, but it builds anticipation with your customers, so that when they do come to that one sale, they know in their head, well, I better buy everything I want to buy because he's not going to have another sale for another month. So then they're likely to spend more money, and they're likely to get excited about the next time. And this is what I found to be true, especially with people that buy like records or are big readers. They will buy a bunch of books at once. Also recommend keeping prices relatively low. Don't charge, $6, $7 for a paperback book. I'm charging $2 for paperback books, $3 for hardcovers, and people will buy a lot of them because that's a low price. I'm not a garage sale, but also I'm not a used bookstore at retail space, right? So I'm in between there, so where I can price not so low to where I'm not going to sell, a paperback fiction book for 50 cents, but I'll sell it for $2, which is dirt cheap. They can't get that low of a price on Amazon. Back in the day, they used to be penny books, and plus the $3.99 shipping, it was $4. Now, the cheapest book, for the most part, you can get from a mega seller is about $6. So getting a book from me for $2, hardcover for $3, even the big oversized books, the coffee table books, I'll sell for the hardcover ones. I'll sell for $3 a piece. And CDs are $2. My records are $3. DVDs are $2. TV box sets are $3. Blu-rays are $3. My video games are $3. I have audiobooks too, which are $2. So I keep things pretty cheap, inexpensive. But my February sale was the best sale I had, and I keep track of how many people actually spend money. And also the other thing is almost everybody that comes through there actually buys something. So in February, I had about 50 people purchase something, make a purchase, and that ended up translating into it was almost enough money to pay my lease, and that was just shy of it by like $50, and that was a 2-day sale. In March, the sales went down. I think it had to do with I don't think it was the weather so much. I think it was because the coronavirus was starting to become a big thing. And so my sales went down by about $300. It still was good, don't get me wrong, for 2 days, but it's still definitely worth it, especially compared to where I had come from in November. It had gone up. My sales had gone up, but it takes time. It's something you have to build, and over time, I'm still learning. This is only going to be my 6th sale. I'm sure once I'm about a year into it, I'll have built it up. My idea is to get double that. So go from 50 people spending money to 100 people. That's when I start making some really great money. What did someone say? I'm in Southern California, not LA, but I'm about 40 miles east of well, yeah, roughly, of downtown LA. So the one thing to consider too with doing a local sale. Also, there's a guy I met recently who bought the Gaylord, the extra Gaylords and pallets I had in my warehouse, who is even way further east than I am, and he sells merchant fulfilled, but he does sales out of his garage, and he says he does like great sales with that, pricing the book super cheap. People are lining up outside. That's another example, right? I forgot what my point was, but anyway, he does really well with that as well. And he doesn't even have the books organized. He was looking at my space and he was like, "Man, you've got them organized." He's like, "I just throw them up. I just put them out there. I just open it up and say, here they are. Buy whatever." I don't know what he charges, but he says he's doing well with that. I think he said he did a weekly sale though, and he still has people showing up. But anyway, what I was going to say is, even if you do it monthly, you've got to have some level of new inventory out there. So that's where I would feel the pressure. Those 4 weeks, because I would do it every 4 weeks. Those 4 weeks in between, I would have to be focusing on getting more inventory out. And the ones that would really get to me is the records, because those record collectors will drop a lot of money if you've got what they want. They will not hesitate. So I realized quickly that, wow, these record collectors will come every month. They will sit down. They will go through all the new records I have. And especially for $3 a pop, they'll buy 20, 30 albums at a shot. And even the higher priced ones that I have, if there's something in there they want, they will buy it, whatever the price is. So I realized, wow, I can make some good money with records, but that means that I have to, in between those 4 months, those 4 weeks, that month, I've got to find more records. So the pressure's on me. I don't have to, but if I don't have newer inventory at least every couple months, then people aren't going to be coming back. So anyway, so my idea is that the more people I can get to show up, the more I can sell, and the more people that come, the more people that will come back. I already have at least, I mean, 10 or 12, if not more, repeat customers, and this is only after 5 sales. Probably more than that, a dozen to 15 or so that come back every time, that are active on my Facebook page. That's the other thing, is if you're going to do this, create a free public Facebook page and start building that following. Um, and over time, as that grows, you can start utilizing that as your marketing arm. And you can start, which I have not done yet because it's not quite big enough. But I think once I get above, like, I just broke the 200 follower. Uh, I just went over 200 followers. Like, I'm at almost like 220 now, and it's growing. And people are responsive. So I just posted last night that I'm gonna have the sale, and people were liking it and excited about it. And so I'm just tapping into that. I mean, once that grows to several thousand, it's going to be a much bigger, potentially easier way to sell things. So once I build that up a little bit more, what I'll end up doing probably is, when I get some cool new stuff in, I can just post it and say, "Hey, just got this in, anybody interested?" And then somebody can come by and just pick it up. So I wouldn't even have to. I can still do my monthly sale, but I can post certain items up there, and ideally just sell them off like that. But it's a great way to market and build up your following. I mean, one of your customers, and one of the big reasons of why, if you want to do bulk and you want to go beyond just selling online and doing local, the reason it's a great idea is because, as we know, because of Amazon and online sales, local bookstores, independent local bookstores, by and large, a lot of them closed down back in the 2000s, that type of thing, and a lot of them are making a resurgence, pre-coronavirus, of course, and they're doing extremely well, because if you live in a community that doesn't have a bookstore, or has one or two, but definitely could use another one, then people like to support their local businesses in general, but especially a local bookstore. So that's why this is it's a great opportunity, especially now, to take advantage of that. For records, I have found everything through OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace. I think those are the ones that have provided consistently. I haven't been looking lately because I haven't had a sale, but that's where I've found all of them. Yeah. So, oops. I'm just looking in there right now in Facebook Marketplace. Let's see. It's the same one here. So here's one as an example. This is a little far for me. This is one that I've seen before. Still hasn't sold it. I mean, great photos, right? But they claim that they have classic rock, disco, jazz, country. I mean, those all sound good. Funk, oldies. But they want, I don't know how many they have. I mean, look, there's 3 here. These 3 tubs or whatever. Probably here there's what, maybe 50, so maybe like 100. My guesstimate, but then they also show here, which looks like it's on some shelving. See, look at this. I have not contacted them yet because I haven't been in there yet. But I would offer that. I would say, hey, how many records do you have in total? Roughly, do you have 400, 500? I'd want to go see them, and I'm learning about buying records that you got to be careful with the condition. The last buy I made, I should still make money, locally, but a lot of those records were in rough shape, very rough shape. So from here on out, I think what I'm going to do is, I'm going to be much more careful about that. I'm really going to take a look at the condition of the records before I buy them. And just, like this one as an example, I'd want to flip through. I don't mean checking every single one, just, checking the sleeves. I mean, the sleeves look decent. Typical wear on these looks to be. It's hard to tell from these photos, but I mean, you can see they have typical wear. But how bad are they? Um, there's this one, $100 for 80 vinyl. I've seen this one up here for a while. I mean, Rod Stewart. I don't know what else they have. Oh, they say Rod Stewart. I don't know who that is. Trilogy. Cheech and Chong. See Joni Mitchell. So they could have some good stuff. I'd probably, offer a little bit less for that. So yeah, this is what I do: is I look locally. This person has a ton of 45s. I probably wouldn't want to get a bunch of 45s. A lot of people on here that show records actually are just trying to make money off of them individually, which is fine, but it's not good for bulk buys. Um, and this is just Facebook Marketplace. I've also found some good deals on OfferUp as well. So yeah. Um, and you can do the same thing with CDs, DVDs. Video games are a little bit tougher to find them for cheap to be able to resell them locally or online. You have to really look a little bit harder for those. But records are usually pretty plentiful, I've found. You just have to be diligent about it. You have to really look on there every day and look on different places as well. Let's see here. Oh. I'm looking on Craigslist right now. Let's look on Craigslist just for funsies. Massive record sale. I mean, this person, I don't know what they're doing here. But I think they're selling them individually. Wait, I think I need to just put vinyl records instead of just vinyl. Box of records for art. Ooh, does that mean they're messed up? Some name artist not in the best condition. So not in the best condition. But look, they've got some cool stuff. They're talking about doing it for artwork, for art projects. So $20 for all. How many are there? I don't know. But anyway, records for sale. Oh, no, that's different. So there's this one. 5 boxes of vintage. I don't like that vintage. Those are probably only no cherry picking, selling all as bundle. $250 for 5 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many in each box? Probably, those are the Home Depot boxes. So there's probably like 70, 80 at least, if not more. So yeah. Anyway. Oh my gosh, look at this, guys. Awesome music collection, classic rock, jazz. They want, is that 10,000? Oh, they're crazy. How much is in here? 800 plus LPs, 100 plus 45 RPM. It could very well, look at that. So they have, look at that, all that Kiss, Black Sabbath. But I mean, who's gonna? They're insane if they think someone's gonna pay $10,000. Even, I mean, look at all that Iron Maiden. There's some good stuff in there. But anyway, no one's gonna pay $10,000 for that. So yeah, so online arbitrage, flipping, merchant fulfilled to FBA. If you like to work in front of the computer, don't really want to see too many books, and really just want to go for the higher profit books and build that way, then you can. You should probably have at least $1,000 to start. I would recommend. because you don't want to just buy five, just 10 books. I mean, you're going to want to buy a lot of books to really make it worth your while. And then, wait, what? Yeah, so you probably want to have a good amount of money. You're going to want to have the ability to sit in front of your computer, not the ability, but the desire, I guess. You don't mind sitting in front of the computer and doing that. I find it boring and unsatisfying. And I also I like to go out there. I like to see people. The other thing about it for me is I like to find, my kids have a massive book collection. We have two entire 5-shelf bookshelves that are packed with books. I mean, they have their own library, and that's because of 5+ years of going to buy books. And I always look for and almost always find books for them. I also found lots of books for me that I'm, have on my bookshelf that I'm going through and reading right now. And so for me, it's been extremely rewarding in that way. So the idea of just selling books online, flipping them online, does not appeal to me at all. But like I said, it's to each their own. It's perfectly fine. Go for it. In a bookstore. So that's the thing. Also, right now I am, as you guys know, I've been talking about it, that there's a local bookstore that is essentially closed right now. I mean, because of the coronavirus, but also because the owner cannot run it anymore. And it's a small bookstore in my area that has been there for almost 15 years in the same location, and has been in business for that long. And the daughter is looking to either have someone run it, take it over from her and her mother, or just buy the books off of her. So I'm weighing, my options, because it's kind of a way to because you can just step in and just open a bookstore, right? And it's all there, stocked and everything. Same location, people know about it. It's in a location that is pretty good. It's like a trendy area, typically. I mean, pre COVID-19 and post COVID-19, it will be a popular area to go. There's a right down the street is they have live concerts right down the street. There's a couple restaurants on either side, and there's a lot of like antique vintage places around there. They've got a antique row, vintage row. So the question is whether it makes sense for me to do. Because I did visit the bookstore, and man, they've got a lot of books for a small space, and there's a lot of valuable books there. I could probably go through it and pick out a bunch of books that I could resell on Amazon that would make more sense, or even on eBay. Anyway, so there's things to consider if you want to get into a bookstore type of situation. I'm really considering doing it though, because it can be a way to instantly have another income, but it does require work. I got to set it up. It's set up, but what I mean is I have to have it, can't have the same stuff. I got to put some new books out and get rid of some that might not make sense, and change the prices. The prices are way too high. So there's a lot of stuff to consider. But anyway, we are the end of the show today. Talked about online arbitrage, which I never talked about before, and talked about the opening a bookstore, whether in a warehouse or retail. I recommend a warehouse if you're going to go that route. So thank you for watching, guys. We're going to get out of here with our song. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. I am working on finishing the edit up of a video. I'll be posting a vlog, and I will be doing more of those. I'm glad that all you guys showed up. We had as many as like 10 or so people today, which is always awesome. I enjoy when a lot of people show up, when we have interaction in the chat, and we learn a lot from each other. So thanks for showing up, guys. Again, I've been going live for 32 days now. Because of the quarantine, a lot of us are at home. I know slowly we're going to be getting back out there. Things are opening, but tune in tomorrow, 7 a.m. I don't know what we're going to talk about. We'll talk about something that has to do with reselling. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow, and be safe out there. Take care.